Hi, today I'm going to show you how to draw a head from the side view, which is called the profile, but I like to show how a skull fits inside of a square, meaning all sides are equal, that the skull fits inside the square. When you look at the skull from straight on, it's more long and narrow, but when you look at the skull and the head from the side, it really is the same length high as it is wide. Fits inside of a square. So what you want to do to start with is on your paper, you're going to make a square any size you want to, as long as all the sides are equal. And let's get a little closer here. I start out with all sides being equal like this, a square, and then you want to divide that up into quarters like this, with a little dotted line here and a little dotted line here. And if you look at the picture that I showed you of the girl's head in profile, I always like to start with, that she's facing this way, so her face is going to be on this side, but most of all of this is the top of the skull here. So what I'll do is I'll start at the top, and I'll just get a little light curve like that going to the side, like that. And then as I come over this way, I'm not going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to stop a little bit before I get to the side like that. So that's the upper arch of the top of the skull. It's going to come around like this. The face is going to be over on this side here, just in this little area right there, but the rest of this is all skull here. The eye is going to be along this halfway line. So if you've got this at the front of the face over here, I'm going to just come back in just a little ways like this, and I'm going to make a little sideways V like that, where the top part of the V is a little bit bigger than the bottom part here, a little bit taller. You're only seeing a little bit of the eyeball showing in there like that. So there's a sideways view or a profile view of an eye. What happens in front right here is usually the forehead will flatten out a little bit as it comes down towards the eye like that. It's going to indent in just a little bit. See how I indented in? But there's still a little space there in front of the eye. And then the nose is going to go out at an angle. And everybody's noses are different, but I'll just make a straight line. I'm going to give it an angle like this as it goes towards the edge of the square there. I can stop on the end of that the nose is going to swing back in here, but I'm just starting out like this with a simple shape like that. So there's your eye, and your nose is going to be there like that. And then on this part of the nose right here, there's a little bit of the wing of the nostril there, but you just suggest it like that. You don't see much of the nostril, but you can show a little bit of the hole there if you want to. Leave it out. You can round off the end of the nose. Okay, if you start out with it with straight lines, but then you can finesse it a little bit and round off the edge of the nose like that. Underneath the nose, you got to have a little space there, but usually you cut back in this way, and I'll have a little line coming out at an angle like that, and then I'm going to change and go back this way at an angle, a straight line or whatever. I'm going to just go a little ways down at an angle like that. Then you can round it off a little bit and just suggest there's that upper lip there. Okay, there's your upper lip. What you want to do for the lower lip is cut back a little bit, and then I round it off a little like that. It's the bottom lip is usually a little rounder than the top lip. The top lip is usually more of a beveled edge like that, a straight edge. The bottom lip, you don't have to draw it all the way to the corner of the mouth. You can just stop right there. Then you got to have a little bit of a indent right there too, because that's where the chin's going to come in. And you can just fool with this, but just a simple little round shape like that, whatever you want to. And you've got kind of a chin shape, which is going to come along like this, and it might cut back like that, and it's going to turn into the neck over here, which usually is at an angle like this, the neck at an angle. The back of the head, as it comes around like this, it's going to come down, and it's going to slightly turn into the other part of the neck right there, which might be a little straighter. We'll come back to that. The eyebrow is from the side view. The eyebrow is above the eye here like that, and it's going to start back here, but usually it goes almost all the way to the forehead like that. It might turn a little bit, but it almost looks like it's touching the forehead when you have an eyebrow. Your lashes right here, this part right here turns into the lashes. You might have a little bit of the crease showing above the eye like that. Okay, a little bit of a crease showing that like that. You can put a little shading around the eye if you want to, or leave it out. That upper lip, you can give that a little bit of shade like that, okay? And then you've kind of got, that's how the face is fitting in a side view. Where's the ear gonna be? Look at the picture. It's over here past the halfway line here. And again, it's gonna be just that little curve like that. You don't have to do much more than that. There's an ear shape like that. You can cover it up with hair if you don't want to draw it. But I'll put a second line in there to show the handle of the ear like that. And that's all you really need there. The forehead, if this feels too round, sometimes what I'll do is I'll straighten out the forehead like that. And then when I get up to the hairline, then I'll round it off again like that. That's going to be the top of the skull. At the neck here, if you want to look at the way she has a turtleneck collar on, it's kind of like a little cylinder going around her neck like that. There's a little cylinder like that. You can also put a line down here which represents a shoulder if you want to. But where's her hair going to be? Well, it's not going to be flat against her skull so much. So what I'll do is I'll erase the skull line, and I can still see the skull line there. But now what I'm going to do is give her some bangs here like this. So it looks like the hair is bigger than the square there. It can go outside the square a little bit and go outside the skull a little bit. Here I've got giving her a little hairstyle. You can do whatever you want to with her like that. Okay, and then you just start to fill that in, and you've got a nice little sketch of a profile view of a head here like this. And you can make the hair longer. If you don't want to draw the ears, well, what the heck? We'll just cover those right up like that, and there you go. Almost anything can happen at this point. You can go in and you can do a little shading around the eye like this, a little bit under the nose like that, okay? A little bit on the neck, and you can erase away your square that you started with. Get rid of that. Get rid of your dotted lines there like that. And you've got a side view of a head. Give it a try.